Mike and Eddie, thanks for having me today at the home of timber engineering. We're not building houses fast enough in the UK, but during the pandemic, the two of you came up with an idea of how you could set about solving that problem. Eddie, let's start off with you. What is it about what you're doing here that's enabling speed of production to be so advanced?
It's really just about the efficiency of the entire process. So we looked not only as a house builder but the manufacturer of the timber frames on ways in which we can improve on that. And one of the key things is the amount of work that happens on site and the delays that are caused through weather risk and various other factors. So by manufacturing some of the components in a factory environment where we can control of those factors, it then meant that when we do turn up on site, the whole process is much more efficient.
And Mike, let's face it, I don't have reams of stats in front of me, but people aren't insulating their homes fast enough for us to get anywhere near the net zero targets that have been set. I mean, insulation is such an obvious thing to enable people to do, but for some reason it isn't cutting through. But what you're putting together here are incredibly energy efficient houses. How did you get to that point where you produced a solution for that in amongst everything else?
Well, it's a two-part answer. One of the things we've always looked to do is try and get more insulation into the cavity. So by making the cavity bigger, it makes sense you can get more insulation into it and make the whole external wall a lot more energy efficient. But also because we're doing these extra sized or oversized panels, you need a bit more timber in them to make them more rigid and structurally sound. So we get that extra cavity insulation as a sort of a default or an end result of having the bigger panels. But by doing that, what we're doing is creating a platform that any house builder that uses the UltraKit system can easily achieve an A-rated house.
And there's scrutiny on energy usage in production. You're making things here, it's quite energy intensive work, but you've taken steps to look at your energy supply to make this incredibly energy efficient.
Well, there's two parts to that. The energy consumption manufacturing is as efficient as we can probably make it, but where we get the real benefits is the house building side of it, the construction side. We can have a lot more concurrency happening on site. So one of the big milestones of any house builder is to try and get the building wind and watertight as soon as possible, because what that does is it allows a lot of the internal activities such as joiners and sparkies and plumbers to be able to get on with their work much sooner, at the same time as you've got the brickies and the roof tilers outside doing the external works. So because we get wind and watertight within a couple of days, as Eddie mentioned before, we're actually able to get a lot of concurrency onto that building site. So in other words, we're 3 or 4 weeks ahead of what a normal traditional timber construction would be before you're starting to do your internals. So that's a big leap forward in terms of the productivity. But what it also means is for SMEs, they can build more houses per annum, which is one of our main things we're trying to achieve is build more houses in this country.
And who and what message do you need to get out there to market that'll enable you to expedite your growth here at Timber Engineering?
Well, I guess our key target audience would be SME housing developers across the UK. And as Mike pointed out there, if we can demonstrate and even educate SME developers on how they can deliver more homes per annum without any extra effort, potentially without any extra labour, and by default deliver a far superior product and a more energy efficient house for their clients, it's a win-win for everyone.
And Mike, back to you. When you look at scaling up here, what is the biggest blocker that you have at the moment to achieving that? What do you want to unlock to grow faster?
Well, I think if we can build up a bigger pipeline of customers to be able to justify bigger premises, there's always going to be economies of scale there. The other thing as well is being able to tap into local labour and improve the headcount here to increase the throughput. And one of the challenges, not just to us, but I think the entire sector, is getting hold of reasonably qualified people and also getting younger people into the industry. It's a real blocker and challenge for, I think, everyone in construction and manufacturing. We think there's an opportunity there to bring young people into the industry, train them up and give them a really prosperous future and career.
We're looking now at some footage of some of the projects that you've been involved in. Talk to me about a couple of case studies. You've had some big wins over the last year. Eddie, which piece of work are you most proud of that you've been part of?
Several, but probably the ones that we've been doing in our local area. Obviously, we're quite passionate about Dundee and the surrounding areas, and you know, the impact that we bring not just to our employees and to our customers, but also to the local economy and all the benefits that brings. So I think the developments that we've been involved in nearby, those are the ones that, because we've worked so closely with those developments, that we've been able to evolve the whole system and make it as efficient as possible.
If you're looking for a partner that is fast and energy efficient, this is the place to come. Guys, thanks for your time this morning and look forward to seeing what you've got in store for us over the next 12 months.
Thank you very much.